Helen,
And I'm Liz,
and we're sisters
scientists,
and lifelong X-Files fans.
and this is We Want to Believe.
Okay, welcome back. We are talking about Død Kalm,
I'm just repeating you.
Norwegian words.
We're talking about
Norwegian words.
Norwegian words today. Yeah.
Whole episode just about etymology.
Yeah. Of a language neither of us speak. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been consistently speaking to Gatsby in French lately.
Really?
Oh, because he's a poodle. It seems appropriate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you feel
Yeah.
he responds better in French? Like that does it like connect with him?
Maybe. I don't speak to Leo in French as much. Maybe it's because there isn't a French word for labradoodle or doodle, but there is a French word for poodle.
Wait,
And
there's
so-
a French word for poodle? What is it?
Caniche.
Really?
Oui, mon petit caniche.
I had no idea. How do you spell
Yeah.
that?
Caniche, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I tell him he's a caniche mal. He's a bad.
Oh,
poodle.
he's a bad poodle. The name of his pop punk album that he will be
Yeah.
releasing. Bad poodle.
Yeah.
I know there's a French word for greyhound. I can't think of what it is, but I looked it up once, but unfortunately it is also slang for a sex position. So
no.
yeah, I was like, oh no, what is happening? So
I should double check that just in case.
I think that you would have already realized it, like if you Googled it at all. I can't imagine that like in French, like every dog breed is a different sex position or something.
I don't know.
No, I checked it. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
All good.
Okay.
Caniche is fine.
Good. I spent a long time looking into the history of poodles one night recently when I couldn't sleep and discovered
awesome.
it then.
I know because
Yeah.
poodle comes from a German word for like something
Oh,
with
does it?
water. Yeah. Like
Oh,
puddle.
right, like puddle. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I learned
I did see
this
that.
because of a game of Trivial Pursuit where that was a question. So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
What a good question.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, Norwegian. We do not speak Norwegian.
We don't speak Norwegian. Nope.
No. We are not even tangentially related. You've been to Norway.
I have. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Okay. Have you been to the sea in Norway? Specifically the 65th parallel?
I don't know. Was it near Oslo? Because I was near water.
I don't know. Maybe.
We went to Oslo and we did do like a little bit of going outside the city, but it was just to this like cultural outdoor museum with all these old buildings that had been like relocated to be like a museum. And it was very
Ooh.
cool.
Oh, I think you've told me about that.
I think
That
I
is
have
cool.
because they had like buildings with grass on the roofs, like L. Johnson's restaurant.
Yeah. In Door County, Wisconsin.
Yes, where they have grass on the roofs and goats as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what parallel we were at, and I
Sure.
don't know. We were definitely by water though. There was water
Hmm.
everywhere.
Oh, interesting.
I was merely at the 60th parallel.
Darn it. So
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Well, this episode takes place, we start in the Norwegian Sea, near the 65th parallel. And people are arguing and kind of fighting, and some people are leaving the boat that they're on. And the captain is standing there and saying, this is mutiny.
And they're speaking Norwegian and it's translated?
No, they're speaking English.
Oh, okay.
And they have American accents.
Oh, okay.
And the captain pulls a gun on one of the guys, but the guy says he doesn't want to end up like the others and gets in like a lifeboat. They're like all
okay.
just leaving.
Okay. Wow.
And so then, 18 hours later, it shows another ship. These are Canadians, we find out.
Oh, okay. So it's
that have
Canadian accent.
very strong Canadian accents. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe they were Norwegian. It was a very strong accent. And the guys see in their radar a ship just kind of like floating. So they throw them a line and tell them to like hold on, and they'll pull them in. And it turns out it was the lifeboat full of the Americans, but they're all really old now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I'll tell you. So this episode didn't grab me.
Okay.
I felt like it seemed it had a very, very similar vibe to Fire and Ice and the one with the fluorescence in the woods. Like Mulder and Scully are stuck somewhere. Something weird is going on. There's like one other person there who might be suspicious. Like, I don't know. It just had like a very
tensions
formulaic...
are high. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't grab me. But I did do I do have a few interesting stories thrown in here.
Awesome.
Because I wasn't super interested.
I am up for interesting stories, and I'll hopefully remember it. Something happened in my life recently that I was like, oh, I would love to spin this into an X-File. It would be perfect, but I don't remember what. So.
Oh, wait, were we going to talk about time traveling bison?
Time traveling bison. Yeah. So let's make sure to talk about time traveling bison today.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the end, shall we?
Sure.
Or
yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So the intro plays, and then we see Mulder and Scully in a hospital in Bethesda. And Mulder is saying how a Navy ship recently went missing with no sign. It just kind of disappeared. And then suddenly, the night previously, they picked up a lot of the crew members. And one of them is still alive. So that's the lifeboat that was found. And Mulder called Scully in because they won't let him in, but she's a doctor. And so he's hoping that she can get some more information. And she's confused because she walks in and is asking like, oh, is this the patient? And he's supposed to be 28, but he looks about 90.
Oh, okay.
So, that's weird.
Yeah.
And so his doctor comes in and basically kicks Scully out and is like, please hand me my patient's medical file and leave. And again, one of those situations where like, I think we're supposed to be annoyed, but I was like, yeah.
Like, who are you? Yeah, fair.
Yeah. She checks and like Scully doesn't have proper authorization. And so she was like, no, please leave. So she goes back to talk to Mulder. They're in their office and he shows her a map where he's got all these like pins, in it at different points and lines drawn on the map, and says that other ships have apparently gone past that part of Norway near the 65th parallel and have disappeared. Mulder then brings up the Philadelphia experiment. Are you familiar with that?
Is it the name of a movie? The Philadelphia something?
Project?
Philadelphia.
I thought that was
what is the Philadelphia Project? Is that something? Is that related? No, the Philadelphia Story is a 1940 movie that I was thinking of, which is with Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn and completely unrelated. But then the Philadelphia Experiment was apparently, it looks like also a movie in 1984. And then there was a sequel in 1993 and a remake in 2012.
Oh, no kidding.
But that was definitely not what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Is it some sort of invisibility experiment?
Yeah. So
this is bizarre.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions for you.
Okay. I'm ready. Okay.
Yeah. So Mulder says that scientists on that project, this was it was contemporary with the Manhattan Project, it sounds like. That scientists on this project all disappeared on their way to Roswell. Like they were finishing up the experiment and they were going to go to Roswell and they disappeared. This I did not fact check, but I suspect is not correct. And that they had been the government was working on like making ships or submarines or something invisible. And Mulder thinks that they're messing around with wormholes involved some sort of aliens because of the Roswell connection. And he thinks that the military never stopped with those experiments.
Oh, neat. Okay.
So my first question for you is, what is a wormhole?
Okay. They're theoretical. It's not like we can prove that they're a real thing. But the idea is that it would be something, my understanding as somebody who, studied physics, but it's not like wormholes and that stuff is my specialty, is that it's something that would be created by a black hole. Do you feel
okay.
comfortable with what a black hole is? And do we feel our listeners are?
I believe so because a book I just finished reading talked about a black hole. My understanding is
Yeah.
that when a okay, I don't know how correct this is. You'll
Yeah,
correct
go
me.
for it.
But my
Please. I
understanding
say some really appalling things about biology on this podcast. So,
that when a star reaches a certain size, the like gravity of it starts pulling itself towards the center, and we get this like super gravitational, I don't know what word I want to use there, super um something with a super strong gravitational pull that like pulls the light into the center, and then things start getting pulled in too.
yeah, basically. So, like,
Okay.
all stars are going to reach the end of their life at some point because the fuel's going to burn out, and stars are in a constant tension between gravity to collapse them inward and the reactions that are happening within the star that are kind of blowing them outward. So for them to be in sort of a stasis is like a war between those things. Eventually, as stars get bigger, they will collapse. What happens then depends on the mass of the star. Stars like our sun, not going to turn into a black hole.
Oh, that's good.
I mean,
We'll all be
sure,
dead by then
but the
anyway,
thing is,
so it doesn't really matter.
yeah, because what's going to happen first to our sun is it's going to expand into the red giant stage, and it's going to have a radius about out to somewhere in the Earth-Mars region. So we're going to get swallowed up by the sun regardless. So it's not great.
Stellar.
Nice. Nice.
Didn't even mean that one.
That
Great.
was beautiful. So
what type of star is our sun? What is it now?
It's a main sequence star. It's sort of middle-aged. We've still got plenty of time. We're not,
Cool.
I'm not exactly sure how long, but very, very, very long before it does anything. So,
cool.
Okay, it expands outward and then it collapses inward, and there's like an explosion called a nova. And then what's left behind after that explosion depends again on the mass of the star. So it might leave behind nothing much of interest, like a brown dwarf. It might leave, if it's more massive, it leaves behind a neutron star, which is just what it sounds like. It's a star made of neutrons mostly, and they're incredibly dense. So like if you were to manage to get a spoonful of neutron star, like a teaspoonful of it, it would weigh, I want to say, about as much as the Earth. I might have that a little bit wrong, but that's about right. So it's very, very, very dense. And neutron stars are interesting. They rotate, and you can use them as sort of a like standard thing to measure, because we have a sense of what their rotation should be. And so like looking at their rotation can help us time other things and figure out where things are in the sky. It's been a while since I've thought about this. But then once you get stars that are massive enough, even beyond a neutron star, when they collapse, because how strong gravity is doesn't just depend on mass, it depends on the density, right? So Earth's gravity is what it is because of how massive Earth is, but also the size of Earth. The formula is like mass in the numerator, r squared, the radius squared in the denominator. So like the more compact the mass, the stronger the gravity. And so what's happening in sort of a like runaway situation is you picture it's already really, really dense. And then we get the mass gets pulled in even harder because of how strong the gravity is. But then that makes the gravity even stronger, which pulls the mass in even more, which makes it even more dense, et cetera, et cetera. And so the gravitational pull is super, super strong. And it starts, it's pulling things in, the black hole is, but we can't even see what's happening there because it is not even letting light escape because of how strong the gravitational pull is. And so the theory is that that sort of incredibly dense collapsing of matter into itself can create a wormhole or some sort of connection or tear in things to another place in the universe, maybe. And that would be a wormhole.
And that's the part that's theoretical. So we know that everything, prior to the wormhole situation with the
Yes.
black hole,
Yep.
it has been
That is real.
proven.
Yep. Yeah, that is real.
Okay. Why don't we care about brown dwarfs? That sounds sad. Why aren't they that interesting?
So a brown dwarf is like sometimes called like a failed star. Like it's like, oh, that is really sad, isn't it? Like when I say it like that, like they think that like planets like Jupiter almost could be considered that. They're basically like, they didn't quite get it together enough to shine. I feel like every single thing I'm saying is making this worse. I don't know how to describe them in a way that isn't sad. Yeah,
Jupiter, I think, is far and away the coolest planet, not temperature wise, but
it's the awesomest. Yeah,
it's the awesomest. So, I mean, if they're like Jupiter, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're described as substellar. Which is, again,
poor little guy,
kind of sad. Yeah.
Why does it make me think of Gatsby?
He's kind of a golden dwarf.
He's substellar.
Yeah, he's substellar. I'm so sorry. When I said, but I made a mistake earlier. I wasn't thinking. When I said brown dwarfs would be left behind, that was on me. That's a mistake. Brown dwarfs are sort of stars that never get off the ground. Like they don't quite get it together. A white dwarf is what's left behind. That's what our star would leave behind after after it goes supernova. So
okay.
Yeah. So cool. Sorry about that. And again, the dwarf is just kind of like the size of the star, and then the color, the brown or white, is talking about the light that it's emitting. Like white dwarf, just we're talking about white light. Brown dwarf, it's meaning like it's not really shining. It's not really doing its thing. It doesn't quite have enough fusion happening to do its thing and maintain itself as a star.
Yeah, I feel like this is also some sort of metaphor for Gatsby's intelligence.
He doesn't quite have it together.
No. Well, thank you. Awesome.
You're
very
welcome.
Interesting. So Mulder thinks wormholes are involved.
Okay. I mean,
yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was when I was like, okay, well, how often so he's saying that all these ships disappeared near the 65th parallel of Norway. And I was like, well, how often do ships disappear? And I started looking it up, and the answer is frequently, and it's not mysterious.
Really?
Because, I mean, yeah, like, so you start looking into it, and it's like, the Mary Celeste, this famous ship that disappeared.
Yeah, the Mary Celeste. I've heard of that.
And then it's like, like, what could be the theories? The theories are like, well, pirates, or the people got off somewhere. Like, there's like it's not that big of a mystery. Like,
but if they got off somewhere, would they have like told someone?
I mean, maybe. But like, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, when was the most recent ship disappearance? And the answer is 2008. But but it wasn't actually a disappearance. It's just that the ship sank and they don't know where it is.
Okay.
And it's like, well, okay, the ocean is giant. So that doesn't really like ships. I don't know. Maybe this comes down to how often I have been on Wikipedia when I can't sleep at night, sometimes looking at poodles, sometimes looking at shipwrecks in the Great Lakes, because
one of the two.
Yeah. Good. It's a coin flip.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
As
like Edmund Fitzgerald and whatnot.
Westerner. Yes. Yeah. I think that's super interesting because like they're lakes. What are they doing? Swallowing ships and
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Being that big?
Right. So I don't know. It doesn't, none of these seem actually that mysterious to me.
Okay.
It's like, well, they sank and we can't find them. Like, okay. Or the people got off somewhere or were taken and we don't know where. Like, again. But then that all made me think of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370.
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah.
Yes. Do you know the story? Do you know what the deal is with that?
What I recall, because it wasn't that long ago.
No, it was 2014.
Yeah. Is like, okay, so clearly I don't know that much.
Do you want me to just tell
you? Plane disappeared. Yeah. Don't know where plane went. That's what I know.
Right. Yeah. So this was March 8th, 2014.
Okay.
And it was going from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia to Beijing in China, Beijing Capital International Airport. And it last communicated with air traffic control 38 minutes after takeoff when it was over the South China Sea. So like I looked at a map because as we're all aware, my geography is not
Neither of us.
strong.
It's not our strong suit. Yeah.
It's not. But look at you describe a black hole and all these
Look at me
different
go.
stars.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Who needs geography?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like a straight northern shot from Malaysia to Beijing.
Okay.
So just like pretty much where it was going.
Not
just
what I
like
would have
straight
guessed. Good to know. Okay.
Yeah. And most of that is over land.
Okay.
Or a lot, or like islands and
Mhm.
there's stuff. It's not like over the Pacific or something,
Mhm.
And so 38 minutes after takeoff, and then they had some like secondary surveillance on it that saw it like a few minutes later. And then the Malaysian military had radar on it for another hour after that, but
Oh,
it was
okay.
deviating straight westward.
Whoa. Why was it
So
doing that?
they don't know.
Okay.
So it should have gone straight north, and sometime over the South China Sea, it took like a hard west.
Right? It took a hard west.
left. Yeah. And started traveling straight west, which it
Okay.
shouldn't have done. And so over the past like 10 years, like as recently as 2023, there have been pieces of it that have washed up ashore. And it's
Oh.
clear that it like continued straight west for a while, kind of towards the Indian Ocean. And so they have never found the wreck. They have never found the black box. They have never found any bodies washing ashore. And so they don't really know what happened. There are theories that like it could have been a plot by someone, like it could have been either the captain or passenger, some
Mhm.
sort of terrorist event.
If it's a terrorist
Um,
event, though, usually terrorists want, like, the part of that is to generate terror,
Right.
so you get, like, you want
Yes,
cred
exactly.
for that, you know?
Right. And so that's why that's not a popular theory.
Yeah, yeah.
And the evidence that they do have from the pieces that have washed ashore, and I don't know why I'm not anywhere. I have nothing, no aviation information in my brain.
Okay.
Except that planes go in the air and they get us places. But evidence apparently shows from those pieces that it likely wasn't being controlled when it crashed.
Oh, I
Again,
have no idea
I don't
how a
know.
piece of thing could show that. When you say
Nope.
wasn't being controlled, do you mean wasn't being, like, piloted? Like it was just
Yeah.
gliding like a glider?
And then like eventually ran out and like spiraled is what they think.
Whoa.
So the most
Oh.
likely theory is that there was some sort of hypoxia event.
I was just gonna guess if everybody died on board or
Yes.
something.
That's
Oh
the most
my
likely.
God.
And it was on autopilot and just kind of kept going. And yeah, they don't know why. The only part of that doesn't horrify me quite as much is because like dying of hypoxia induces like kind of a high. Like it wouldn't have been a terrible death for everyone.
I mean,
which is
frankly,
good.
better that than dying, 10 minutes later when you crash into the ocean, right?
Totally.
I mean,
yes.
yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
oh, I don't care
Yeah.
for that though. I
No.
fly a lot and
Mhm.
but I guess I should keep in mind how many people die of hypoxia not in planes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
And, how
a
many planes?
portable-
I mean, this is notable
air
because
travel is so safe.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a what?
A little portable carbon monoxide detector that I
Oh,
bring
really?
with me when I travel. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, which
Why?
I think in Europe it's not too big of a deal, but occasionally you hear about it in hotels in Mexico. People will die. Like it's rare,
God.
but it's not impossible. Like it happened
Whoa.
a couple years ago. And
Oh
so
my gosh.
it's just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
However, I gotta get a different model because the one that I have, like, there's like a button on the front of it that you can push to test it. And if I shove it in my
God.
bag and then I like kick my bag or something, it starts beeping. I was on a train last summer in Europe and I like called the conductor over into our little like train compartment and I was like, there's like a beeping. Do you know what that is? And he was trying to turn it off and trying to help me. And he's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that's from. And I like, he left and I
And
was
it
like,
was you.
it was me. I was like, oh my God, it's my stupid thing beeping. I moved my foot onto my bag. I was like propping my feet onto my
Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
luggage. Yeah. So,
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart, though.
I think it's a good idea. I just think it's good to get one that is
Can't be accidentally triggered.
Yeah, I was being cheap, and so I was getting one that like is not that can also be mounted, and I need one that's meant for travel and is a little bit sportier. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, God, well, that makes some sense, but is
Right.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Right. So, okay. So Mulder wants to go to Norway and makes it clear. Scully says something like, have you told Skinner? And no. I mean, the answer is no.
Of course not. Yeah.
And Scully says she's coming with. And so they get to Norway and they're trying to get information from some guys in a bar, but no one will talk to them. I don't know if it's because they're in like a fishing village bar and they don't speak English, or if they say something about everyone looking scared or something. I don't know. But then they run into an American.
Okay.
And he says that he's from like Florida, but he's been, I almost said captaining ships in Norway for a long time or whatever. And people won't talk to them because they're scared of a story of a stone coming out of the sky and that they say it was an evil god.
I'm sorry. This makes Norwegians sound like, I don't know, cavemen or something. Like the great stone came out of the sky. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, and I'm sorry. Hang on. They won't talk to him because they're worried about
won't talk to Mulder.
They won't talk to Mulder
because
they're scared about the big sky stone.
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay. Okay.
But he'll take them out to that part of the sea if they pay him.
Okay.
So they're on a boat. Mulder, Sully been watching too much Monsters, Inc.
We have a dog named Sully in our neighborhood that's real cute.
Oh,
yeah. Archer was a jerk to him on our morning walk today. Barked at him. Doesn't care for him. He's
also not surprising.
Yeah, no, he's very opposed to the existence of other dogs. Anyway, so Scully and Mulder go on a boat with the American.
Yeah. Yep. Scully has good sea legs. Mulder says Mulder has bad sea legs. Is getting very motion sick.
Okay.
And so they're on the boat and something starts messing with the radar and with the navigation system.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly there's another ship just like in front of them that they run into.
Oh,
and
like physically run into? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. And it's the missing ship. And so they go on to it and the captain says that with the corrosion that's present on it, it looks like no one has been there for 20 or 30 years. But of course, we know it hasn't been that long.
Right.
So they go down to check the crew's quarters and there are all these bodies down there that look mummified, except there's some sort of strange residue on them. And
this does have a fire, ice, etc. feel to it. Yeah.
Yep. And so then they hear noise and the rest of the crew just took the ship and left Mulder, Scully, and the captain on the stranded ship full of bodies and
oh my
residue.
God. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's the first mate is also with them. That's right.
Okay.
One other guy.
Okay. And this is the first mate from the boat that the American was running, not from the ghost boat. Okay.
Right. And so they start trying to fix the ghost boat, for lack of a better term. It has a name. I didn't catch it. But the residue seems to be corroding everything. Okay. And the first mate kind of runs off for some reason, and they find him with a fractured skull, dead. Ooh. And they hear someone else kind of talking and hear some noise. And so they go to follow it to find, who killed the first mate. Mm-hmm. And there's a guy hiding who looks super old. Okay. And he's cradling a body of whiskey. Which I wrote.
Did you say a bottle? A bottle of whiskey.
A bottle of whiskey.
Gotcha.
Yeah. To which I wrote, fair.
Yeah. Right.
And it's the captain from the intro. It's Captain Barkley is his name. So he was the one who was like, you're
yelling at people and stuff.
Mutiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he says that they saw something burning come out of the sky. And the American captain is like pissed and thinks he's the one who killed the first mate and is calling him a liar and stuff. And Scully tells him that, like, it's okay. We're going to do what we can to help you. And he says, "What can you do to help? I'm 35 years old."
Ooh.
Which I thought was funny because I'm 35 and
Oh, yeah.
he
Yeah.
looks like 90, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And so the American captain, whose name Trondheim, I think is his name, or Trondheim.
Oh, really? Because that's the name of a city in Norway. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Maybe I
like they were like
misheard.
writing either that or they were like writing the episode and they were like looking at a map of Norway and then someone was like, "Hey, we need a name for this character," and they just like looked at it or something.
Yeah. So we see him, the American captain, pushing Halverson, the first mate, off the side of the boat. So like giving him, you know, a burial at sea sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And he's talking to him and saying, "You were a good first mate. You always left me alone." And I don't know, that just struck me as funny.
Yeah.
And so then someone starts attacking him after he pushes Halverson's body overboard. But Mulder gets there and pulls the gun on him and stops him.
Okay. I will say this real quick. There's no one called Trondheim in this episode. I went on IMDb.
What's his name?
Well, there is a Lieutenant Harper and there's a Captain Barclay.
Right. But, okay. Yeah.
And
that's
there's
the
Ionesco. And there's a sailor. And yeah, I mean, there's like a dude with like a kind of classically handsome sort of face, and I don't know. I don't know, but he would have been young at this point. I don't know.
You know,
they're not naming anyone named here. Let me see if I can see all cast and crew. Let's be very thorough here. Is there
otherwise we just accept the American captain.
Oh my god. No. You're right. He just wasn't listed. His name is Henry Trondheim. You were right. I'm sorry.
I feel good about that.
Yeah,
I thought maybe my note taking was awful.
It's just bizarre because like, why would they have the American be named that, you know?
Right. Like there was a Norwegian captain in the US named Chicago or something.
Yes,
like,
that's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
Anyway.
So Trondheim is at the 64th parallel north, if you were interested.
I am now.
Okay.
Great. Maybe it's his nickname because he's
I like
lived
it.
there so
yeah,
long.
I like it. Like, that's our friend who always goes to Norway. We call him Trondheim. Yeah.
So Trondheim knows the blonde guy who looks very Norwegian and who is tall blonde guy with a beard who had been attacking him, and apparently he's a whaler.
Okay.
And so now I have a story.
Okay.
Regarding whalers.
Okay.
It's good though. It's anti-whaler.
Great.
So Zach went to high school with this guy named Willie. You have a look like, where is this going?
I do.
And I'm just gonna tell you, this is just a very interesting old friend of Zach's. He, after college, became a naval engineer who designed warships.
Whoa.
And saved up like all this money, like made just tons and tons of money, and then quit his job and spent 2 years biking across the country.
Whoa.
And was just like biking across the country, across the US.
Wow.
So this is in Wisconsin. And he went to the East Coast, West Coast. He ran into my in-laws, Zach's parents, in Seattle. Like they just happened. He had biked to Seattle.
That is familiar and insane. But yeah, I think I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then after his whole biking adventure, he joined a ship in the Southern Ocean to stop whalers and was on like some sort of TV show about like people that are like trying to stop the whaling industry and catch the boats and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what that made me think of.
Good for him. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. So they take Olafson, we find out is his name, the blonde guy.
Yeah.
Take him to the cabin and they find Captain Barclay has died. Okay. And he has the same sort of stuff growing on him, and it seems salt-like, some sort of, you know.
That is familiar. All of a sudden, I feel like, now I remember this episode from salt-like stuff. Okay.
Yeah. And so they say they're going to tie up Olafson and get some rest.
Mhm.
And when they wake up, they look at each other and now they look old.
Okay. And how is the old person makeup in 1995?
Not awful, not good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found a picture recently. I was on ancestry.com and like they have, I don't know how they do this stuff and it should freak me out a little bit maybe, but there's a picture of me from the high school newspaper when I was in Antigone.
Whoa.
Yeah. And when I looked myself up, I wasn't in the picture, but I had to wear old person makeup
Oh,
for
yeah.
my role in Antigone.
Yeah. That's right.
But it was real weird. Yeah.
That is
I
weird.
was like, yeah.
Wait, I thought you said that you were in the picture. Oh, you weren't wearing the makeup in the picture.
Right.
Okay,
I wasn't
gotcha.
wearing the makeup. Yeah. And so they start talking about possibilities, and Mulder thinks it's a time warp. And which I, again, don't know why, don't know how, but it's Mulder.
I also just feel like that's just like, I don't know. What does that mean? You can just say it. I don't know. It's a time warp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a jump to the left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. That's all I'm thinking now.
And Scully says, Mulder, what do you know about free radicals? Which made me think of another side story. If you recall, when we had a Mary Kay lady come to our apartment when we lived together when I was in college.
It was like a friend of a friend, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she basically showed up and insulted us.
Yes.
Yes.
And she kept talking about free radicals. And I remember I was in like intro chemistry at the time and was like, oh, so how do free radicals, relate to this makeup? And I can't remember. She said something real dumb. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I do remember that she told me that she could tell me some tricks for my eyeliner to make my eyes look less close set.
God.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I needed to worry about that.
I remember her telling me about like some anti-wrinkle cream that I might want. And I was 25.
I think that was the free radical stuff.
Okay. Oh, yeah. 25.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Scully correctly says that they are highly reactive chemicals that are carrying extra electrons.
Oh, okay.
And that the prevailing theory on how our bodies age is that, the damage from free radicals can cause cells to break down. And so Scully's theory is that there's a meteor or some sort of other highly magnetic source nearby, maybe under the ocean, and the ocean is acting like a battery. And so they're encountering a huge number of free radicals.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's not the worst theory.
Yeah, that could be worse. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then they notice something dripping from the ceiling, and it's rust. And they notice that so all the pipes are corroded except for one. There's one line that hasn't been corroded. And so they start following that. And they find a bunch of rats drinking clean water. You always got to follow the rats.
Oh, okay.
And
follow the rats.
Follow the rats. And
is that a thing? Like follow the rats?
I don't know. It's I feel like it is. I don't know.
I mean,
it is now.
It seems kind of smart. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I'm thinking of is the follow the spiders thing from Harry Potter. The Chamber of Secrets. But you know what?
But that's completely different though. That's
completely
if you want to find a big spider. Like,
right.
It's not like if you follow the rats, eventually you get to a giant rat. So.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It would. Yeah. Follow it long enough and you're going to get to a rat that's like the size of a hippopotamus. So
yeah. I would love that.
I know, it'd be so cute.
Speaking of this, essentially, have you ever looked at an ant's face highly magnified?
No, I'd be too afraid, I think.
It's the most horrifying thing.
Oh, I'm not going to Google it. Okay. I was about to.
So horrifying. I saw it on like Instagram or something, and someone had posted like, oh, thank God they're so tiny. And I was like, there is no way that's what they actually look like. And I Googled it, and now I can never unsee it. It is horrifying.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do I want to know why? Is it like a clustered holes sort of thing with like the tulip?
It's like a monster. I don't know. It's like a demon.
Wow.
It's just
So
terrifying.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids made it too cute when they ride
Yeah,
the ant.
much.
Okay. All right.
Much. Yeah. But giant rats, I feel like I could get
Sure.
behind
I
that.
mean, we know what
Yeah.
like rats are big enough we can see their faces, and
Right,
I'd
exactly.
be into it.
And they're
Yeah.
adorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so there's some sort of stash of clean water going through the pipes.
Okay.
Possibly like for the sewage or something. I don't know. But there's a reservoir of clean water on board.
Okay.
And so Scully thinks that it's something in the water that is affecting them because there's this one clean pipe
Okay.
with its own separate water and everything else is rusted and being affected, right? And she thinks that Barkley was alive for so long because he'd been mostly drinking whiskey.
Oh, that's funny.
And
yeah. Okay.
yeah. And so they go back and Olafson, we saw a short part where he had convinced the captain to let him go. And the captain is now claiming that he escaped.
Why
And
would you do
Scully,
that? Yeah.
yeah, and
Okay.
Scully says with little prompting that she's going to need blood and urine samples from both Mulder and the captain, which again, I feel like this has happened before.
Yeah.
And so we see her taking notes, and she's saying that they apparently have huge amounts of sodium chloride in their blood, which like hypernatremia is a thing. Huge amounts
Okay.
of sodium chloride, like too
Okay.
much in our bodies.
Is that
And
salt? Sodium chloride? Okay. Yeah.
yeah, salt. And it doesn't cause this.
It doesn't make you old. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Like we know what it does. It causes like seizures and unconsciousness and muscle
okay.
weakness.
And
there's,
like,
you know,
that's not something I can get from like eating too much salt, just eating it, right?
No, it's
Okay.
more, I mean, if your sodium is too high, it is so you can get too high sodium from eating too much salt.
Sure.
And it can be bad for your heart and bad for other things, but it would have to be like from severe dehydration to cause like extreme hypernatremia that would start to cause that.
Like, man, I'm really in the mood for a bunch of potato chips. Yeah. Okay.
No, right.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't have too much salt, but for unrelated reasons and things that are not going to either cause unconsciousness and seizures or cause sudden aging.
Got right. Yeah. I feel very comfortable. I eat a lot of salt, but I feel very comfortable with the amount of salt I eat. So
yeah, I mean, your doctor would tell you if you had too high salt. So like,
I mean, I have good blood pressure, so it's probably fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Salt is delicious.
That's the thing about it. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. Oh God, when I was in Cyprus and I lived in Cyprus for almost a month one summer on an archaeological dig. And it was so hot. They told us to drink a lot of water, but then you also have to eat a lot of salt.
Oh,
because otherwise,
it all like,
yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. So you need the salt in order to essentially hang on to that water and be stable. And so it was awesome. It was like free reign to eat. They were like encouraging potato chip eating. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
Yeah. So Mulder is faring worse than Scully and the captain. And the captain starts trying to convince her to start looking out for themselves and to like let Mulder die, essentially. Because their water is running low. And so like, let's save ourselves.
How long have they been on this boat?
Not that long. I don't think like a day.
Okay.
Maybe.
I guess you need water a lot though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still.
Maybe more. Because I think they later say something like 36 hours or I mean, still not like deadly. But I guess if they also have a ton of salt in them, then they're gonna need more.
Yeah.
So Scully finds a snow globe in a cabinet and combines that with sardine juice and a few lemons to make a drink. And Trondheim
That does not sound
But-
good. Okay. Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Trondheim, the captain, has locked himself in the sewage hole with the clean water and is hoarding it.
Oh.
And so Scully brings the water, well, water in huge quotes, brings the snow
The
globe.
cocktail that she's
Yeah.
made. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to Mulder and is trying to get him to drink it because he's worse off. And he says, no, she should drink it because she's a woman and not for like at first I was like, excuse me, Mulder, but no, because like she naturally will hang on to more water because women have a higher percentage of water and more fat, higher fat percentage to hold on to it. And so he says like, you have a better chance of making it out.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
you should take it. And so they hear some sort of huge noise and the ship starts shaking. And apparently the hull broke and they're taking on water.
Oh.
And during the shaking of that, the quote unquote water, the cocktail broke. So they don't have that even anymore. So Trondheim is locked, has locked himself in the sewage area or wherever the clean water is. But now that's filling up with water. And so, because that's where the hole broke and he's trapped. And it doesn't go well for him.
Okay.
And yeah. And so it just shows Mulder and Scully talking some more. And they're talking about like how it's really not fair that this is how they're going to die. You know, like they don't see a way of rescue and this sucks.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. I don't know what's going to happen here. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And we're getting towards the end of the episode. And Scully says that she tells him about something she experienced when she was waking up from being kidnapped, and that she said that there's nothing to fear with death, nothing to fear on the other side. And I wonder if she's talking about the nurse. Do you remember that nurse that she talked to?
Yeah, the mystery nurse who wasn't really there, and Scully's in the rowboat and all that.
Right. Yeah. And Scully's dictating and tells the viewers that Mulder has lost consciousness.
Oh God.
Now. Yeah. So then someone finds them. Someone somehow comes and rescues them. And we see Scully wake up in the hospital. And the same doctor who treated the first guy who kicked Scully out is there and is treating them, and said that Scully's responding well to the dialysis. And that Mulder.
So they're getting treated in the US?
Yeah. Presumably they were brought back to the US, to Bethesda.
Okay. I don't know. I guess that makes sense. But also, if it's that urgent, I feel like Norway has good medical care.
Right.
Go to a hospital in Oslo or whatever.
Yeah. They have big cities.
Yeah. That's weird. Yeah. All right.
Maybe they were initially and then were still unconscious. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Mulder's endocrine system was apparently worse off, but that the logbook that Scully had been keeping and the tests that she did on their blood and urine, which I don't know how she was doing tests. I don't know. That's all very vague.
Yeah, like I like the idea that she's sort of like a MacGyver type biologist where she could just, given some blood and like, I don't know, duct tape and a coffee mug and like, I don't know.
Yeah. Coffee filters. Yeah. But that the notes she kept helped pinpoint which treatments to give them. So they're going to be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So Scully wants to find out more, but the doctor says that the ship sunk 1 hour after they were rescued. And they still look old. And that's the end of the episode.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
So presumably the treatments are going to reverse the damage that was done.
Yeah.
But yeah. So next up is Humbug. You'll have to tell us if they still are old looking in Humbug.
I will let you know. And I've seen the episode Humbug a number of times. I don't recall them looking old. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But that
that's weird.
It. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's kind of a lot of episodes, a surprising number, that just sort of end. Like it's just like, and they're in the hospital, and this is kind of a downer or neutral. Like there isn't a big wrap up sort of feeling to them. So
yes, right. Or even like, I like the ones that end and then you see like a little like hint that things are not wrapped up. Do you know what I mean? I can't think of an example, but like like, ooh, but this person is still alive.
I
Like
think
some
that,
sort of like kind of spooky way. But
Squeeze ends that way where
yes.
he's in prison, but he's building this nest again. He's got that little slot he's gonna squeeze himself out through. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that I like. But yeah, I feel like there are these that just kind of are like, well, all right. And we're not really given any sort of closure, even, So that was it. It was,
there it
kind
is.
of formulaic. It was fine.
Yeah.
Didn't make a whole lot of sense. There was some science that made sense, I guess. And a lot that didn't.
Yeah.
So
fair enough. Yeah. And I know humbug is the one with like, I don't know what the right word is, because surely it's not this, but I swear it's like the freak show. Like there's like a circus people, like a traveling circus with
You're
people.
not thinking of Home.
No. No.
Oh, okay.
Home is like there's a creepy family of incestuous monster people. This is different. This is like sort of sideshow attraction theater circus traveler performers sort of thing.
Well, I'm glad you're watching that because that stuff really bothers me.
Okay.
I read a book. What was that? I can't think of the name of it.
It wasn't Geek Love by, was it Catherine Dunn?
No.
It wasn't Geek Love, was it? Okay.
I don't know what that is.
I tried to read it twice and I've had to stop both times. It's far too disturbing. There's people who like loved that book and I gave it a shot twice and was like, nope. Too horrifying. Yeah.
Huh.
I won't even, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not even going to get into it.
Yeah, don't. No, the book I read was more like historical fiction and it was like kind of interesting. And I think I like stuff from the author, but I don't know. It was too much.
Yeah.
Actually, it was kind of good now that I think about it, but never mind. I can't even think of the name of it.
This one, what I recall is that people say it's the start of the X-Files having a little bit of like humor and self-awareness in some episodes.
Oh,
and that this is sort of seen as the first one of those. So we'll see with that in mind. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then after that is the Kalusari. Which
scary stuff.
I know is, and I can't remember. I don't know if I've seen. So.
Exorcism stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember. I have like vague feelings of remembering.
Do you remember there's like an Eastern European woman and she has a son and there's like a balloon and there's an exorcism?
Vaguely.
Okay.
Vaguely. I think maybe I saw it once.
Okay.
Speaking of Eastern European women, and I say this as a relatively half Eastern European woman. Yeah. When William, our oldest, when he was a baby, like a baby, he I'm sorry, I want
a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that pit bull, what is it? Fire
I'm not a
something.
I'm not a pit bull expert.
Fireball, he says. I don't know, but he goes, baby, you're on fire.
I don't know that.
And Zach used to say all those babies and then go, you're a baby to the babies, to ours. But that's not what I was going to say. That he was jaundice when he was born. And so we had to take him for a bunch. He was a little glowworm.
Yeah, he had a special outfit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we'd have to take him for like pretty like daily, I think, for a while, or every other day blood draws to check his bilirubin levels.
Yeah.
And there was a woman one time who came in with this very heavy Eastern European accent and went, I am here to take your baby's blood. And the back and I were both like, oh God. We kept joking that then like someone else would come in and be like, oh, I'm here for the blood draw. We'd be like, no. Oh my God, vampires.
That's awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Side question for a male roller derby player. What would you think of Billy Rubin as a derby name?
I would love it.
It's kind of awesome. It just came to me when you said it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
I thought of this. thing in my life.
traveling?
Oh, time traveling
Oh,
bison. And then I thought of the thing in my life that I thought would make a good X-File.
oh, awesome.
But first about time traveling bison, because it relates to an announcement that you have.
Oh, actually, I don't know that I should announce it. So let's
Ooh, gotcha.
just in
Okay.
case I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's do
I
that
can talk
again.
about it. Yeah. Okay, so first about time traveling bison. In
Yes.
your paper that I was reading that you were
Yeah, my book
submitting,
proposal.
your book proposal, you
Yeah.
were talking about, let me see if I've got this right.
Okay.
TB,
Tuberculosis.
tuberculosis, we
For those.
thought was introduced into this area in a certain time,
Uh-huh.
but then we looked for evidence of TB and found that some extremely old bison showed signs of it. And so we were like, and when I say we, I don't mean me, I mean, I don't know, humanity. And
Yeah.
so it's like, TB must have been here sooner than we thought because this bison has it, these bison.
Yes.
But my other theory was, no, what if the bison were time travelers? Because that would explain it.
Mm.
If the
That
bison went through a
would
wormhole or whatever and they time traveled and they
Sure.
came here and they got TB and then they went home,
Oh,
that'd be so
poor
sad.
bison.
Oh no.
No, actually, so mycobacterial diseases, so like tuberculosis and others in the tuberculosis complex, they call it, that can
Mhm.
cause similar diseases. They are relatively common in bovids. So in
What is a bovid?
What's a bovid?
Yeah.
Well, bovines.
Oh yeah.
So cows and cow-related animals.
Okay.
Bison being
Yeah.
related enough.
Yeah.
So it would make sense to find tuberculosis in a bison.
Okay.
I feel from later evidence, I feel pretty certain that it was not time traveling, but I guess there's not really ever any way to know for sure.
No, I don't think there is.
No.
I mean,
that's not true. We could carbon date the bones. And that would tell us, it would tell us how long it's been there. It wouldn't tell us necessarily when it came from originally.
and to be clear, for whatever reason, what I was imagining was ancient bison goes to the future, gets TB, then goes back in
Oh.
time to its original time with the TB. So then you definitely wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I have no way of proving that
Yeah.
didn't occur.
Yeah.
So it's a
So
solid theory.
thank you. Yeah, maybe that's something you can explore in your book.
Maybe. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
There's bison outside of Fermilab,
Oh my God, you're
the
right.
physics research
Yes.
center you
That's
worked at in
where-
Illinois.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it
Mhm.
is. Obviously,
Mhm. Yeah.
they're going to Fermilab. They're time traveling somehow, and
Yep.
there you go. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I love the idea that like there's like an Outlander or Time Traveler's Wife or like, some
Mhm.
sort of like fiction where, we've got time travel, but it's bison.
Yeah, that'd be adorable.
If you need, ideas for your new novel,
Well, I mean,
I would love to read that.
I'm editing my story that takes place at
Yeah.
Fermilab and has time travel in it.
Oh my God, that's right.
I'm just gonna be like, and also there was a bison there. Just
Yeah.
like in one sentence.
Just change
Yeah.
all the characters to now be bison. Like the
I guess
story is the
I
same.
never technically come out and say that my main character isn't a bison. So, I mean,
So-
she lives in an apartment and her mom owns a dress
Mhm.
shop. Again, I
Yeah.
never state this human female owns a dress shop.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
I think it's possible. I'm gonna
Yeah.
sometimes writers for fun will commission artists to draw their characters or whatever, and I'm gonna
Ooh,
be like, I need you to draw Vanessa. She likes vintage clothes. She's 17. She's into physics. She has black hair, and she's a bison. And I need you to draw that. So
I mean, bison could have black hair. That tracks.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. What happened in your life recently?
Well, it's actually it was not my life. It was Amanda telling me this that last year their car was out of commission for a while because some animal chewed through the wires in the car.
no.
And then it happened again this year. So her car's in the shop right now because so something keeps chewing through the wires in her car and like eating them or whatever.
Gigantic Texan cockroaches, perhaps.
I came up with a theory that it's her neighbor. Which would be awesome and horrifying. I think she said his name was Rick, and just like him like creeping out there in the night and going into their car and like chewing through the wires. Yeah.
That would be so creepy.
I know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Our dryer started on fire.
Oh my God, I heard. Yeah, that's crazy. And
Speaking
there's so many times when me and all my arrogance have tried to convince Adam, just leave it run while we run errands or go to the gym or whatever. It's fine. And I'm so glad I don't. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So is it okay?
You're so glad you don't. So glad Adam stops you.
Yes. So glad we haven't.
No, it's not okay.
Oh God.
I mean, that the houses, the people are, the dryer has gone to a better place.
What happened there?
I don't know. I mean, it was old.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
Yeah. Is there a follow-up? Just something keeps chewing through her wires. Is there a reason why she doesn't think that it's just like an animal that lives nearby?
I mean, it is an animal for sure.
Well, right.
But it might be Rick. Rick is an animal.
Yeah.
No, I mean, she lives in Texas. Odds are it is, I don't know, some sort of Texan squirrel. I don't know.
Yeah.
In the same way that I think I've told you, somebody I know who was in Alaska for a while, and they would have to do this, like, she was in the Air Force, I want to say, and they'd have to do Arctic survival training because they'd often have to go repair the fiber optics cables that were out in the middle of nowhere. This was in the 90s. Because polar bears liked the taste of the lining of the wires, and so they'd chew through the wires all the time because they liked the taste of them. So
that's kind of adorable.
I know. So I think it's possible maybe it's a polar bear chewing through her stuff.
Sure.
It's one of those Texas polar bears. Yeah. No, so yeah, she's just like, oh yeah, it's probably like a chipmunk or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible it's her neighbor, because I think that would be really, really creepy to picture it. So
that would be really, really creepy. Yeah. Yes. I know someone who studied geology in Greenland for her dissertation, and was in a helicopter flying out of like their site and saw a polar bear down on the ice below.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah. They're neat.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And next week is Humbug. Send us your emails, send us your spooky stories or unexplained stories or questions you have for us.
Yeah.
And follow us on Instagram, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we want to believe pod@gmail.com, or we want to believe pod at Instagram.
Yep. All right. See you next time.
Bye.